Water out there.
Just cracking up at myself. I've had insomnia for, well, all my life. I probably work on about 3 hours of sleep a day, which is beneficial. When you're a mother of 5 kids, there's always something to do. There's always some new spilled bowl of cereal in the fish tank. What I did not intend to do, because I also have issues with CNN where I'm just like on it constantly. I really harmed myself. When a woman was stoned to death by her uncles and a bunch of men for dating a man outside of her religion. And they stood around and they captured it on their cell phones. And I mistakenly clicked where the footage would be, and I was so stunned, I just could no longer function just to get off the screen, and it really affected me. I should preface, because the book is chronological, and it's about having grown up in an extremely violent household with me and my brother. We lived with our father. My mom is schizophrenic, narcissist. She's got all of the best ones. And so she's not really been in our lives. But to a poet, of course, she's in every poem of mine. So it was really, really important. We were very competitive when we both were out of foster care. My dad got custody of me first. And so everything that my dad gave me, everything that was in my bedroom, I assumed was only mine. And so when my brother, who he got custody of after me, came along, I really tried to murder him once for touching my bristle blocks. And so my dad came in and found me sitting on a pillow on his face. For Dua Khalil. The morning I caught my brother behind the couch, my pet hamster in his hands, holding her steady as a bowl of blood. A new heat moved through me, tightened itself around my throat like a leash. I smacked him and bit his shoulder. He dropped the hamster to the floor, an Easter present from my father, mine. I grabbed her and I held her up to his face, and I squeezed until she went limp beneath the crush. My brother couldn't say a word, and I placed the dead thing in his small hands, and I strolled down the hallway, whistling like a prison guard. That night, I cried for hours while all the house slept, blamed my brother for the wilted spine of my beloved pet, prayed for justice, begged the gods to snatch him from his bed, toss him to the snapping dogs roaming the field behind our house. Yesterday, I mourned a girl discovered in the wrong boy's hands, a girl whose uncles dragged her from her home, stripped her down to narrow hips and undeveloped breasts, slammed concrete blocks against her head, her chest kicked in by a proud circle of men. And there God swooned, as blood flew from her body like a swarm knocked loose from its home, as her teeth spilled from her mouth like fresh ripped pearls. When they buried her beside a dog on the side of the road, a small boy in the crowd watched quietly, wanting to know the softness of a woman, as my brother, sleeping 8,000 miles away, sat up in bed with the dirt of my name in his mouth, both of his hands hot, twitching. A poem where I kill my father. Metaphor. course. Pink elephant. 2 uneven braids crawl down her spine. Her cheeks are bright as a slap. She is standing in the field behind the house, the field he takes her to when she's been bad. She is careful where she steps. The blind pit bull next door is let loose here every day to shit all over. She squats in the tall grass, closes her eyes and slips 2 fingers inside herself. Here it is Christmas. She is a boy. Her bed doesn't smell like pee. Here, the man was born without hands. Fireworks pop secret messages in the air. That night, a big silver dog will be waiting on the porch. Who knows where it came from? He looks like a wolf. His eyes, blood dark, they see everything. And one day, he will drop his shining fangs into her father's thigh just before his filthy boot clips her tailbone. In a month, she will come home from school, find the dog tearing at the man's throat like a lamb chop. The girl will tuck in her fat lip and smile. The dog will show off for her, chew each finger down to its knuckle, and place the leftovers in her lap, palm side up. It will take 9 years for the dog to learn to walk on his hind legs perfectly. By then, the girl will have become a woman who has learned to wear dresses and uncomfortable shoes. They will hold hands and stroll through the city. They will laugh and bite and kiss like motherfuckers. Because he is still a dog, he will continue to piss on fire hydrants. This is something she will learn to tolerate, just as he will grow to ignore how once a year she sneaks off into the field and gives birth to a fingerless girl she buries without giving a name. Slide down. Maybe not. I just feel like a dick if it's right there. You don't need to see my face. I should actually read this because I promised. Where are you? I forget your name.
Margarita.
Oh my gosh, Margarita. Who's just been documenting all week. I was telling her how, being a violent, when you're living in a violent household and you are 16 and you're pregnant and you're like, oh damn, I don't want to deal, I really don't want to figure out which way my dad is going to kill me because I am pregnant, so I'm going to pretend I'm not pregnant for a while, and then it's 5 months, and you're like, okay, I got to deal with this, and he throws you through a plate glass window and makes you swear that you're going to give your kid away, and you're told or you learn how you're not allowed to breastfeed your child or hold your child, the child will be whisked away, and you're just like, no, I'm not doing that. You know when that happens? This is called Finally the Author Gets Personal. You should know, the morning in my bedroom, in that empty house, I wanted you more than anything an ordinary body could give. The strange shock, like starving arms pulling my stomach tight as a shark's. I thought my body might be pulled inside out like a kitchen glove. Quiet, I bit halfway through my tongue. The papers chewed on me like the sweet blood morsel I was. 17, honor roll student. I spoke to them with perfect posture. A good student told them how I learned in books how to tie the cord, used meat shears to cut it. explained the birthing positions I studied, how I kneeled like a native, all the months of preparation. None of that. Lovely boy, you should know, when your head appeared and your shoulders cracked through my hips, I wasn't scared one bit. I did not need your father who washed dishes or the girls who practiced suicide in my room. I did not need my boozy father, my wild brother. Let me say, the Christmas Eve, before you were born, on my 17th birthday, when you hooked your heel on the bottom rung of my ribs, I knew I would not give you away. And I realized what I was prepared to become, a thief of my own body, a woman who could pull a boy from herself, chew through the cord with her love-sharp teeth. I think that's an unfortunate dilemma that women have these sort of, well, I guess it's just going to say, bites to get raped. And it even bites harder when motherfuckers are like, what were you doing with him? Or why were you drunk? And you hear these things. You hear them in media, and you think, oh yeah, that's a terrible question. And you think, like, what kind of person would ask that? And then you're curating a reading, and you've got all these liberal, amazing poet people, and you imagine that if this happens to a member of your community, people won't ask those questions. So when they do, you write poems about it. Very veiled, of course, but still.